It is a name that conjures up ferocity and defines the word predator. Saber-tooth. A huge cat which specialized in killing the very biggest prey. Immensely powerful, sporting 7-inch-long knife-sharp canines. For nearly 2 million years, this monstrous beast dominated the primal landscape of the Americas. Saber-tooth's power and weaponry were overwhelming, but suddenly, mysteriously, it became extinct. Now, science and state-of-the-art computer technology will take us back 100 centuries and bring this formidable creature back to life. We'll go on the hunt to measure the power of the cat's massive teeth and explore why this killing machine faded into extinction. The African lion, one of the Earth's deadly predators. Up to 9 feet long and weighing in at 400 pounds, it rules the savannas and richly deserves its name, King of the Beasts. But as intimidating as it is, the lion pales beside its prehistoric relative, Smilodon fatalis, the saber-tooth cat. Massively built, Smilodon may have weighed up to 750 pounds, 25% more than the biggest male lion, and it carried some serious weaponry. 14,000 years ago, just as human hunters began colonizing North America, this carnivore roamed the continent. But the environment was in a state of flux. Although a 1,000-foot thick sheet of ice still covered the far north, much of the rest of America was a lush landscape. It teemed with bizarre megabeasts, mighty mammoths, giant ground sloths, and ancient bison, all engaged in a constant battle for survival, pitted against some of the most lethal killers ever to walk the earth. The 11-foot-tall, short-faced bear, the largest bear that ever lived. The savage direwolf, the big dog of the era, which could run down even bigger prey in packs of 30 or more. And the massive American lion. But the most deadly hunter of all was Smilodon. Imagine 2 steak knives attached to a massively muscular beast. With the hunting skills to use them, the saber-tooth was engineered to kill. This fierce cat could conquer any prey, even a mammoth. Saber-tooth was the most dangerous carnivore of its time. Probably the only beast that could face down the giant, scavenging, short-faced bear. Saber-tooth ruled the Americas. Then, about 10,000 years ago, they suddenly went extinct. Today, the only thing left of these extraordinary creatures are their bones and emblematic teeth. But our best source of information comes from an unexpected location. In a place called the Miracle Mile, deep in the heart of Los Angeles, there lies a fossil gold mine. Just off one of downtown's busiest streets, scientists are constantly unearthing America's prehistoric wildlife. The La Brea tar pits are a collection of toxic-looking lakes and pools. Here, tar or asphalt seeps to the surface. creating one of the best places in the world to find the bones of saber-tooth and other prehistoric predators. 14,000 years ago, though the climate was cooler, the vegetation and terrain of Southern California were very similar to today. The tar pits were hidden in the landscape, making them one of the most deadly animal traps ever known. In the summer, molten asphalt oozing up from thousands of feet below ground would form intensely sticky pools. These were covered by leaves and other debris. Any hapless creature wandering into the area would become stuck fast, as if to a giant piece of flypaper. If the victim was a prey animal, predators like saber-tooth were attracted to what looked like an easy meal. Soon, they too become mired in the tar. Ultimately, both hunter and hunted would die, sinking into the asphalt to be preserved forever. Since excavations began at Brea about 100 years ago, over 1 million bones have been recovered, including thousands belonging to Smilodon, representing one of the world's biggest collections of saber-tooth bones. Asphalt is not only a deadly trap, it is also an excellent preservative. The bones it disgorges are in much the same condition as if the animals had died just a few years ago.
This is part of the hip bone of a saber-toothed cat. And if we go down here, you can see the knee joint. And in this corner over here, there's a beautiful skull of a saber-toothed cat there. And if you look closely, you can see the eye socket of another saber-tooth sticking out of the wall right here.
These fossils are an amazing record from which scientists are trying to build a forensic profile of these monster cats. The picture that emerges is that of a strange creature, a ferocious cat that in many ways was not a cat. Though related to modern felines, the saber-tooth was not like any cat known today. And there was nothing cuddly about Smilodon fatalis. The name means deadly knife tooth, but the precise purpose of these finely serrated fangs is still a mystery. Although many of their bones have been found in California, Smilodon roamed freely through both North and South America. Other Ice Age carnivores, such as the short-faced bear and dire wolf, are closely related to modern bears and wolves, but no real descendants or relatives of the saber-toothed cats survive today. Smilodon is often compared to a modern lion. It was roughly the same size, but it had a very different build. Imagine a lion on steroids.
This is a hugely powerful animal. It is muscular beyond Arnie Schwarzenegger's wildest dreams.
Smilodon was about the size of a lion, but wouldn't have looked like one. The body proportions and probably the gait and a lot of the behavior would be more similar to a black bear than it would be to a lion.
It's got massive arms and forearms, a massive chest, relatively sort of short, stout back legs. It's got massive grappling hooks on its thumbs.
The muscles of the neck were also much bigger than a modern cat's, implying that Smilodon had a savage bite.
The whole package is purpose-built to grapple with, close and personal with big, dangerous animals and pull them down.
Scientists can calculate Smilodon's build from the fossils, but it's much harder to know what Smilodon's skin and fur would have looked like. Based on modern cats, their coats could have had various markings, designed to give them the best possible hunting camouflage for their environment. And it seems unlikely that they lived up to their nickname of saber-toothed tigers and had stripes.
If these animals had any kind of pattern on their fur, it probably was more like spots. The stripes just don't necessarily fit into the type of habitat that we had here at Rancho La Brea.
A quick glance at the saber-tooth skeleton also reveals some other telltale clues as to how Smilodon lived. Its short bobtail means it was not much of a runner. Modern cats, even big ones like lions, use their long tails for balance and turning during high-speed pursuit.
Smilodon just didn't have that capability because of the shortness of its tail. This animal obviously was doing something completely different from modern feline cats.
If Smilodon wasn't chasing fast-running prey, then it had to have been targeting slower, bigger animals. They would have had to use stealth to get close, and then launch a short-range deadly attack. And the bones bear that out. Saber-tooth had oversized front paws with big thumb claws, which scientists believe were for the specific purpose of grappling with extra-large prey.
It was a wrestler, not a runner. It was an ambush predator with really short legs and somewhat flat feet. And it was designed to get a hold of its prey, grapple with it, and actually hold it immobile while it was stabbing it. And this was very important. Its whole anatomy is designed to do this.
During the Pleistocene, North America was teeming with large herbivores, which provided a massive food supply to any hungry prehistoric predator. Smilodon may have evolved to target the biggest of these kinds of animals, with their tactics reflecting the sheer enormity of their prey. Brute force and killing power might not have been enough. A new kind of killing strategy was now required. In Ice Age America, there was plenty of food for a ferocious carnivore like saber-tooth to prey on. Bison, horses, and camels roamed the landscape, and even giant ground sloths and mammoths were potentially on the menu. But unless saber-toothed cats hunted together, these behemoths were formidable opponents, even for a beast as well-armed as Smilodon. Most modern big cats, such as tigers, are solitary and hunt alone. Only lions, which live in prides, hunt collaboratively to take down very big animals. There's no way to prove whether saber-tooth also hunted in a pack. But there are clues to be found in the collection of bones at the La Brea tar pits. The fossil remains of 2,500 individual saber-toothed cats have been excavated there. Normally, there are way more herbivores than the animals that eat them. But at La Brea, predators outnumber prey by almost 10 to 1, precisely the opposite of what you'd expect. And often the skeletons of several saber-toothed cats are found mingled in with the bones of a single large herbivore. Some scientists believe this is evidence that they were social animals. They envisage a group of Smilodon going after the easy meal of a trapped bison, and then themselves becoming stuck in the tar pits. It's possible that saber-toothed cats lived in social groups or prides, much like modern lions do. A lion pride is a feline sisterhood. It typically consists of 4 to 20 females living with 2 or 3 males. The females do most of the hunting, often in groups. By hunting together, they can go after bigger game. And bigger game means more food. Another potential advantage to group living is that any member of the pride that's injured and too weak to hunt for itself can feed off the kills made by the rest of the group. And among the saber-tooth remains at La Brea, paleontologist Chris Shaw sees evidence that saber-toothed cats were able to survive terrible injuries that would have stopped them from hunting.
What we have here is the right side of the pelvis of a saber-toothed cat. This animal is considered by us to be a normally developed individual bone. On the other hand, this bone was from a cat that had a severe dislocated hip. Not only was it dislocated, but the muscle mass around it was ripped and became horribly infected. This animal survived for months, if not years, with this condition.
He thinks that injuries like this would have been fatal for an animal living on its own. The fact that these bones healed means it had been supported in a group of saber-toothed cats. Shaw believes that several animals work together and may have even nurtured injured group members, allowing them to feed at group kills and protecting them from other predators.
Whether or not you could call it a pack per se or a pride is probably questionable. I would prefer to just call it a social group of some kind.
But for others, the idea of saber-toothed cats helping to feed and take care of an injured member of a social group is pretty far-fetched.
The fact of the matter is, more likely that they might eat the injured member. I don't think there would be any advantage for Smilodon to live in a pride or to be very social. In fact, social interaction is extremely rare in carnivores in general. It's mostly something that dogs or dog-like animals do. It's not a cat thing.
But there's no reason to assume that saber-tooth behaved like modern cats. They might have hunted and lived like modern wolves. In a wolf pack, roughly the same number of males and females live together with very little physical difference between them.
Maybe Smilodon actually had a social structure that was more akin to wolves, with monogamous pairs lasting a long time.
In lions, the sexes are very different. Males are much bigger and have larger canine teeth than the females, and they have manes. But the differences have nothing to do with hunting. It's mostly the females that do the food gathering. Male lions are bigger and better armed because they are designed to fight to protect the pride and conquer other prides. But in saber-tooth, both sexes were the same size, and both had the same murderous teeth.
So that doesn't sound like lions, because if we have a pride situation, males should be going out and fighting males to take over prides. And if they're doing that, there's a big advantage to them being large and bigger teeth and more weaponry, and that's not what we see in Smilodon.
Finding the same giant canines in both sexes also rules out the idea that they were some kind of male ornament designed to attract females, the big cat equivalent of a stag's antlers. It's hard to believe that these supersized canines were anything other than what they look like, specialized killing tools. And it appears that nature likes this particular feature. Smilodon fatalis was one of several species of saber-toothed predators that once dominated the planet.
I think one of the main things that people don't understand is that this was the dominant type of big cat animal on the globe up until very recently.
Even though no modern big cats have saber teeth, in the ancient mammals they've evolved and disappeared at least 4 times. Paleontologist Paul Matthews believes these extra-long teeth evolved in order to allow the cat to puncture the thick skin of large herbivores. Matthews has been testing DNA from Homotherium, the scimitar-toothed cat, a cousin of Smilodon, found in Beringia, the area of the Alaskan and Canadian Yukon through which humans first came to the Americas over 12,000 years ago. And he discovered that Homotherium was eating practically nothing but mammoth.
I think we're starting to get enough evidence to say that the saber-tooth morphology that has evolved a number of times in history is all about going after thick-skinned prey.
With canine teeth that were twice as long as Homotherium's and a more muscular body, perhaps Smilodon was designed not just to target young mammoths, but the adults as well. And whether saber-tooth hunted alone or in groups, it seems it was designed to take on all the big prey animals living at the time.
It was specialized toward killing big animals, animals bigger than itself. It's arguably the most specialized mammal that's ever evolved with respect to that kind of big game hunting specialist.
Like modern big cats, saber-tooth was a hyper-carnivore. The only thing it was interested in eating was fresh meat, and lots of it. Amazingly, we don't have to speculate what the saber-tooth ate. The Smilodons of Brea make it possible to find out very accurately what was on their menu. The bones are so well preserved by the tar that many of the proteins that were present when the animals died are still embedded. And in those proteins is the evidence of what saber-toothed cats preyed on. At the University of California at Santa Cruz, Kana Fox Dobbs uses the science of stable isotopic analysis to study the diets of prehistoric animals.
We're able to tell differences in diet based on if they were preferring one herbivore type over another.
The test showed that saber-toothed cats in the Rancho La Brea area mostly ate the more common herbivores such as horses and bison, but also some of the real behemoths such as ground sloths and mammoths. A prehistoric bison weighing in at nearly a ton was certainly a mighty opponent. But modern lions don't need super long canine teeth to kill big prey like Cape buffalo and zebra. So the question remains, why did saber-toothed cats have such big teeth? To try to answer that question, and to try to understand precisely how saber-toothed cats used their fangs, Dr. Stephen Rowe from the University of New South Wales in Australia built a virtual saber-tooth, a digital biting machine that simulates the stresses and strains on a saber-tooth skull. He CT scanned a Smilodon skull, which was later digitally rebuilt, even down to subtle differences in bone density and tooth structure. Simulated muscles were attached in all the correct places, allowing them to simulate more accurately than ever before the precise biting action and power of a saber-toothed cat.
From these models, we can then digitally crash test these animals. We can run them through different behaviors, basically putting limits on how they could have behaved and what they were best adapted to do.